Okay, welcome to the Cobra 135 Part 2 DDS install. One of the things I want you guys and gals to tell me is, I cut the video and I say I'm going to solder something on, I do that. Do you want to see me solder something? Okay, it's kind of silly, I know. It's a weird question, but I see a lot of people do a lot of videos and they take something like this and they say, well, I'm going to solder wires to here, and then they set it down and they grab the soldering pencil and they do their thing. Do you really want to see that? I don't think you have to. All right, well, as you remember last time, we were going to fit the display, try to figure out how to do that. And on that, we found out a couple of things. So let me show you what I found. So you remember this metal bezel that was around here, or this little, I guess you call it a bezel. Anyway, just got the Dremel and I ground that down so that it was flush all the way around here. And if you notice, well, I don't think you can see it that good. Right there, I cut into that little spot that held the clock. But that's not going to hurt anything. And so now the display will fit in the window here. I just have to do a little bit of carving on this metal here. And I had to take out, if you notice, this guy's out of here, the plastic. So I'm going to have to take this and wipe that down with some alcohol and get it wider. But there's some good news. I want to show you this really cool thing. Remember the depth of the encoder knob? We were worried about that, right? We had this encoder knob and we've got this guy. And the depth of that in there, we said, oh gosh, what's going to happen? Well, first of all, I just 3D printed a disc. And look how this goes in here. The disc just drops right in. Okay, covers up the old channel light and all that. And it's just going to look really nice. The cool thing is, look at this. This actually goes on. Hey, look, I'm showing you that I'm actually screwing the knob together with everything. Okay, whoops, a little too short. We got to have the travel just adjusted a tiny bit. There we go. What's nice is this knob goes right on here. Okay. And the travel is there, no problem. So, whoops. But you can see, I don't know if I can focus in and see that little spot right, where is it? It's kind of hard to see it. Come on, focus and find it. Well, anyway, the set screw sits right about here, right about in here, this far down, right about in the middle. So it hooks it well enough. It hooks it just about perfectly. And I was so happy with that. You don't even have to have that much travel there. You can even have a little less on that set screw. There's another one back here. There. But yeah, you've got the travel for the switch. It works good. And look at that. That thing's going to look so great there. We'll put the bezel back on there. So yeah, just a 3D printed disc is all you need. I'll put some glue back there and glue it on. So I've got, oh yeah, and I've also got my DDS and my generator clock board. There you can see the 220 cap that comes with the kit. This goes, like we said before, it's going to look kind of cool because it's going to go right in here like that. And when we screw that down, it gets tighter. But it's going to come out really nice. And then, so let me do this. Let me get this display fitted in here and figure out exactly what I'm going to do. And I'm going to wire up the DDS to the generator and to these wires on the display. And that way I can turn it on and hold the display and kind of get it right and do what I got to do. So that's going to work out good. So again, welcome to part 2, and please leave your comments and whatnot below. Like and subscribe to the video and share with your friends. I'm going to cut the video now and we'll be back magically. And like magic, we're back. That's so cool. Okay, don't get mad at me. I'm just, yeah, it's hokey. I know. I'm amazed that I'm making videos and doing transitions and stuff. I wish I knew somebody that would do it better than I do it. But anyway, okay. So on with the display. So I've got it wired up here, as you can see. Got it wired into the display, into the generator, and just plus and minus. And remember, this is your reset line, goes up there for that display. So I've got that on there. Looks good too. I think that looks pretty good sitting on there. So here's the display. I've got it wired to my external supply. I don't want to wire it to that because the cap hasn't gotten here yet. And well, you know what? Let me show you the bezel first. So the bezel took a little bit of work. I had to get all these little Q-tips and make that fit that bezel inside. Now that's just to get this done. As you can see, that fits in there really nice, right? Okay, but on each side you see a little space, right? So there's a couple of things we can do. And I always tell everybody, you know, you climb your own mountain with the DDS VFO. You put it in the way you want to. You do not have to put it in the way I put it in. You put it in the way you want to. But you can see I etched some of this paint off the back. And it took, let's see, what did it take? It took some isopropyl alcohol and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 Q-tips, both sides, just very gently, you know, wiping the IPA on and getting it done. When you do that, don't freak out if you get a little funky corner like that, or something happens, or you go too far down. Because what you can do is you take a little piece of painter's tape, lay across there, right where it needs to be, and just put a little bit of model paint on there, peel the tape off, and it'll look real nice. I didn't have to do that on this one, but it does happen, believe me. Then, let's see here. For the display here, you got to go in, and it's the same thing. I just ground down the display a little bit to match that display. I mean the bezel to match that. So that'll go up in there like that. Come in, look real nice. Still, you have a corner that needs to get done. I don't know how I want to do that yet. I'm thinking that just, you know, you could hot glue it in back there, right, like that, and then I'm not sure. But remember, on this clock, where the clock bezel was, we have these little mounts, 4 of them. There's 4 little mounts in there. 1, 2, 3, 4. If a guy felt froggy, I guess you could print a plate that held this and then laid across, and you'd have all 4 of those little screws. You know, you could do it. Oh yeah, let me show you this. Here's your capacitor, resistor for this display. If you are putting in this display, you have to use this cap and that resistor. It's 2.2 ohms, and I believe this capacitor is, where is it here somewhere? 3300. You could do a little more. I usually put a little bit of hot glue on there when I'm done with everything to stabilize it. But that's what we've got for you for right now on part 2. What I'll do on part 3, well, I might extend this one. No, you know what? I'll do that. I'll extend this part to show what I found out I'm going to do up here. And then part 3 will be wiring up the rest of this into the radio. How about that? Okay. I hope everybody has a great weekend. I'm going to try to get some other things done. We'll come back to this, but I think we're real close to, it's going to be done so fast. And the guy that owns this, he's happy. Right? It looks really good. And we'll get it done up and make it look real nice. So, all right, with that, don't forget to like and subscribe, and tell your friends about our videos, and just let me know what I can do different to make the videos better, or get you more interested, or maybe show you something else, right? So, 7.3s, everybody. Talk to you later when I get this display mount figured out. Hey, we're back. Look at that. It's in. And look at this down here. Got the channel selector in. Doesn't that look nice? Well, it almost looks original. I just love doing stuff like that. It's the simplest little thing. Where's that little disc I printed? Yeah, right here. So, you know, just printing something like this. Now, I get all the time people saying, well, I don't have a 3D printer. And it's so much work to put DDS VFO in. And I just think, you know, it's not. I'm lucky that I have a 3D printer. I have a resin printer and I have a filament printer. And I'm learning. I'm just learning. I mean, simple stuff like this, shapes like this are just easy. You know, you can do those in like Tinkercad or whatever. But I'm just learning this stuff too. So don't think you need to have a 3D printer in order to put this stuff in. If I didn't have a 3D printer, I guarantee you I would have some of my black model paint, and this would be a disc cut out of an old PC circuit board or an old piece of tin, the bottom of a soda can, you know, whatever. It doesn't matter as long as when it ends up looking like that. Look at that. I mean, crazy. And the same thing with the little spacers I'm going to show you. I did finally come up with an idea, and I think it's okay. You can see the space there, the little spacer, and you'd see it up in there. I think, yeah, you can see that one too. So what did I do? Well, let me unplug this so we don't short something out, and let me show you. All right, so what I did was I printed this spacer that goes across these two little mounts, okay, comes down long enough to get to there, and the same thing on the other side down there, comes up to there, centers it in the hole, and you can see, if I take that out of there, that's all it is, just two little spacers that I put in there, okay. So I did make them. I don't know if you can see. Let me see if I can get it up there. You can see the screw hole is just about 2-3 millimeters down into that. So you just put the original screw from the clock and the washer, and it holds it in there nice and tight. I didn't put those on just so you could see what they look like inside. But that's all you had to do, okay? And again, you have to you know, etch that with your IPA and like a little Q-tip or something. And then just, you know, I put black paint on the inside where I shaved a little bit of this metal off. But I mean, come on, if you didn't have a 3D printer, how in the world would you do that? Oh my gosh, how it would almost be impossible, right? No. Dude, this is nothing. This is just a block of plastic, okay? You could get this from just about anything around the house, something that you were going to throw away. You do not have to have specialized equipment. You have to have an imagination. You have to think a little bit, but then you get this done. So the same thing like with the with anything, you first time you do it, it takes a while. Now, of course, it doesn't take me this long even to do something like this. This is the first one I've done. It took me maybe 20 minutes to, you know, try a couple things and do that. But, you know, in business, that's what you call your loss leader. You're losing a little money on time to figure out actually how to do this. But now that you know how to do it, how long is it going to take you? Maybe an hour for the install? So how is that not quick? You know, it's easy. And things like the Cobra 2000, the display basically fits right in. You swipe one little line of black paint and it takes you 20 minutes to wire it up. The wiring I did here, I just did it sloppy like this to you know, so we could fit things in and get it all worked around. When you're done, you solder everything in and you dress it down. But we're going to show you that. I'm going to show you how all of this wires up. I'll show you how the encoder wired up, where this goes on this radio, and same for others. So once you know how to do a radio, and believe me, my first 148 took me probably, I don't know, 3 hours, because I wanted it to be a certain way. Now, if you give me a 148 to do and bring over a burger and a beverage, you'll walk out with it done. It is so fast and easy to put in. And of course, on DDSVFO.com, we have all of the help files to show you where everything goes. We show you how to wire these up. There's also a color code. And I want you to make sure that when you build these things out, you build them out to the color code that we specify. Why do I ask you to do that? It's very simple. When you call up and say, hey, Toby, I've got a problem. I'm putting in my DDS VFO. Something's not working. Something's not working right. What do I do? Well, if you're using our color code, right, that comes in the kit that we give you all of this wire, way more wire than you need. Mark got after me when I measured it out and said, give them a foot of wire each on each color and a couple of feet on the ones you need 2 or 3 of. And he kind of got on me. He said, hey, it's, you're giving away too much wire. I said, no, this way they have enough for, like say a big radio or a small radio, you're going to have your waste. But it doesn't cost that much to give you this really nice wire so that you can have it. And then when you call me up and say, hey, something's not working, I can say, okay, let's take a look at the white-black wire or the blue wire or the green wire, whatever, like the channel encoder. Well, my channels aren't changing. Well, let's look and see where you have the white, brown, green, and black. And after you've put 2 of these in, you're going to remember easily, oh, white, brown, green, black. That's the encoder. White is data 1, brown is data 2, green is the button, and of course ground. That's it. That's all there is. Same thing with the display. You have the red, black, which we use for all low voltage, everything under 12 volts. Your data for the display, your clock for the display, and the ground. That's it. So you're going to remember how that goes in. And it goes in the same for all I2C buses, which this runs off of and this runs off of, and the display runs off of that. Notice the display, same thing. So enough with this. Is getting a little too long. Part 3 will be the wiring of this and how we wire this and how we wire the voice lock down here and the mode switch, and all of that goes in, an explanation of that too. So I've gone a little over time. Sorry for that. Again, I hope you guys have a great weekend. Subscribe, like, and please have a safe and happy weekend. See y'all.